All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we give our praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh. Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Rakakwadash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone, and to the Akim across the globe. Push your word of truth and sincerity, want to say Shalom. Psalms 127 and 1. A song of degrees for Solomon. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. You know, and I just listened to Apostle Ramlab about the Deacon Akkad situation, you know, and I don't really get into these things, but I just wanted to use this as an example, as a teaching on it, you know, pun intended. All right, about where are they now? You know, been in this truth a while, and originally come from the Chicago camp, and you know, I've seen, we have seen our share of guys who have left Great Millstone, kicked out, put out, you know, and went to do their own thing, you know, and they last for a little bit, you know, and then get the teaching going off, you know, establishing their own righteousness, coming up another way, disagreeing and debating, combating against the doctrine, going against the apostles, the elders, and the brethren, and see the thing they are not, you know. Everybody professes that they can do it better, trying to reinvent the wheel, but the wheel already be invented. You know, the order is set, all right, and we're to come up under the order of Yahweh Shah through the man that is set up. Not to say that these guys were not at one time a benefit to these respective camps. Not to say that the people who they have, the men they have led, not learn anything from them, scriptural-wise, you know, as far as understanding and breakdowns. But, you know, when they leave the flock, when they're spiritually, when they're cut from the spiritual umbilical cord, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, they become vain. They become headstrong and prideful. You know, and it's a few came to mind, like, you know, we had Nazariah and ITR. You know, you had GMS Life Lessons. All right. You had with GMS, you know, the other guys, man. You know that Siccari. You know, these were prominent groups and men of Israel who who deemed themselves to be superior, not only to the men they were around, but to the elders and apostles, the teachers who they had learned from. You know, when you leave and break off the branch and you leave the nest, you become they became waxing worse and worse. You know, the Lord is not establishing houses of discontent, all right, houses of pride, houses of envy, in which these all have denounced the name. They try to come up some other way. These things they are not, man. You know, and the Lord is humbling them and tearing them down like a deck of cards, man. You know, we have to be mindful that the Lord doesn't need any of us. Look at this. Oh yeah, the talents. Shalaki. Um, Matthew 25 and 29. For unto everyone that shall be Salaki. Matthew 25 and 29. For unto everyone that shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But for him that have not shall be taken away even what he hath. You know, these guys have been given a certain level of understanding. They were given a certain level of knowledge through these scriptures, all right, but they didn't come and use their talents in a wise manner, man. You know, they became proud in the fact that they had a large fan base. That's what I'm calling them. I call it a fan base because they weren't there uh, uh, trying to get fed sincerely. We want to be part of a big circus, a big um, uh, stage, I guess is the word, where they could be, you know, where they could have uh, these rap videos. They want to be a part of the hip hop culture in Israel. You know, they could change the doctrine up and nobody said anything. They could bite the hand that fed them, and nobody murmured or said a word about it. You know, and the Lord is slowly leaking the oil out of these guys. You know, and little by little, the Lord is showing that nobody's above this truth. All right. So the servant is not greater than his master, man. All right, you cannot be a wise and master teacher. All right. Um, like Yahweh Shai, he's the ultimate teacher. And we come in his stead. The elders and apostles come in his stead. The brethren who are out here doing the work truthfully and sincerely, rightly dividing the way of truth, all right, doing what's expected of him as an evangelist. All right. It shows. All right. Sure, talking about being lifted up with pride. All right. And these are all telltale signs that we have seen over and over again of those which eat of that tree, all right, who have bitten of those rotten figs, all right, they become worse, man. Let's get this. Come on. Second Timothy 2:3-13 said, but evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived, man. And that's what you guys you're seeing the scandals, you're seeing the breakups. When they break up, they start teaching wayward doctrine. All right, going against the scriptures, talking about Paul not authoritative, and you know, denouncing the name of Yahweh Shai, trying to include all Israel, trying to include heathens. Okay, changing the name, and you have people out here who are following, who are being deceived, but the blood is going to be upon their hands, man. All right, but where are they now? Where's Siccari? All right, where's Nazariah? Okay, where are the life lesson guys? You know, there's so many examples of those who left the truth, and 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 the Lord is revealing the curtain off of them, and you're seeing who they are. You know, they done sold out, they done took bribes, they done took um, hush money. Verse 14 said, but continue down the things thou hast learned and have been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Right, at one point in time, they all were followers of the Great Millstone. They were all agreeing in the doctrine that was being taught by Yahweh Shah. But the moment they get disgruntled, the moment that they get chastised or rebuked openly, they become willful. They become um, uh, having grudges, and all of a sudden the doctrine that they've been assured of, they're no longer assured of. Making these podcasts, going on debates, you know, trimming away to seek love. All right, and a lot of these guys, they don't want to be looked at as failures. All right, so they change the doctrine, trying to keep their following. All right, and totally cast away the thing they had learned through the elders and apostles, man. You know, this is 1 John 2:19. It says they went out from us, but they were not of us. For they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us, man. All right, and the Lord is dealing with the ones who are not drawn back, the ones who continue in the doctrine, man. And holding on to the things that we've been taught. All right, this ministry, this truth that we have is 100% true. What we're being taught and how we're being brought up in this truth from the elders and apostles and from the brothers in the respective camps is the right way, man. Those who take the hand of the plow and looking back, they're not a part of us, man. And the Lord will make it known. You want to know word manifest? It means to make known. All right? That's that word manifest. Manifest, to make manifest or visible or known what has been hidden or unknown. To manifest whether by words or deeds or any other way. Make actual and visible realized. To make known by teaching. Expose to view, make manifest. All right, so the Lord is exposing them by their teaching. All right, actually making it visible for us to see. Pulling the curtain back on these clowns, man, and letting the world know that they're not all Israel, man. All right, I'm close on this. In Matthew, it's like a Mark 4:3. It said, "Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. It came to pass as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured them up." These different camps who came in the truth, these different guys who came in the truth attached to these guys, these fly-by-night Israelites, all right? They don't last long, man, all right? It takes the spirit of Yahweh Shai, to be upon you to endure this. Then some fell on stony ground where it had not much earth and immediately sprang up because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And you got these guys who try to come against the apostles and teach another way. They don't last long, man. All right. What was the name of that one, man? The older guys, out there teaching. They didn't last for a little while. Once they start getting publicly rebuked and when they start being made manifest that they don't have the spirit. All right, when that heat gets turned up, when that collar gets hot, all right, they they slowly die away, man. All right, just like you're seeing Siccari being split up, all right, getting broken up even more. All right, pretty soon you're not gonna hear about none of them. Just like you don't hear nothing about them life lesson guys. They're gonna hear nothing from Nazariah. It said, and some fell among the thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. You know, and these guys don't have any fruit, man. The fruit they have are unedible figs, man. All right, they're being choked out, all right, by their own wickedness, man, by their own heart, by their own desires, by their own lusts. You know, and the Lord is going to continue to make, to make known who His elect are. All right, scripture about waxing old, growing old, in our works, man. You know, not to be one of these stones who fell by the wayside. All right, they endure for a little while, but when the going gets hot, these scandals start coming out. They start getting exposed. They start to wither away. They start to slowly um, return to their vomit, man. You know, we want to be the good seed, and other fell on good ground and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased and brought forth some 30, some 60, and some 100, man. That's the elect, that's the brothers, man. That's these camps out here, the big and small camps, or the Lord is blessing, man. All right, there's not any scandals about Great Millstone making merchandise of Israel, man. Conning and scanning, all right, our people, man. We fell on that good ground, all right. Our shepherd is the Lord, you know. So that was a call halal. Yeah, about me outside. The one to see Prophet Elder Great Millstone. So next time, Shalom in the Bible Ball.